A stunning percentage of dating app users report that they're unhappy with their experience on said dating apps. But is that because of online dating itself, or maybe the company behind the apps? In fact, a recent investigation by the reporters over at The Lever takes a look at the second question, which I think is such an interesting, enterprising story to investigate. Never really thought about how monopolies or consolidation impacts the dating world, but here we are. So almost all of the apps on the dating market are run by one corporation, and that's Match Group. It's worth $8.5 billion. And most dating apps that you can think of, Tinder, Hinge, OkCupid, and so on, all of those are owned by Match Group except for Bumble. So Match Group has acquired or absorbed over 24 of its own rivals and now reportedly operates over 40 brands altogether. So critics of Match Group state that, given the corporation's dominance, it has no real incentive to make sure that its users are getting good matches. In fact, it might have a bit of an incentive to ensure people aren't getting good matches. So last year, a class action lawsuit was filed against Match Group, and I want to give you the details as reported by The Lever. Users invest their time and money into the platform looking for a relationship, the complaint states, and crucially, freedom from the platform. Via dopamine manipulating product features, users become gamblers locked in a search for psychological rewards that Match makes elusive on purpose. That's what they're claiming in the lawsuit. So those features, by the way, include push notifications that bully users back onto the app out of fear of missing a connection, and inventive rewards which punish users for disengaging and rewards compulsive users. I haven't been on dating apps I've been married for like 10 years. So I don't know what these apps are like. But I do remember when I dabbled with Tinder, it made me it made me depressed. It was not a fun experience. And that was, again, like 11, 12 years ago. On Tinder, one Match Group app, users have been pushed to like more than 100 profiles a day and are told that if they use the app daily, they may be designated as top picks to other users, the lawsuit points out. Conversely, users have been warned that not using the app regularly may mean that their profile will be shown to fewer and fewer people. And these dating apps also offer subscriptions that offer a wide range of goodies for anyone who's willing to pay. While the average user spends around $20 a month on dating apps, elite memberships can cost as much as $6,000 a year. That's insane. And finally, it's worth noting just how widely used and widely unpopular these apps are. So a 2023 Pew study showed that about half of people who date online say their overall experience has been negative. The same Pew study found that 3 in 10 Americans have used a dating app. So look, I personally know people who met their spouses on dating apps, so it is still possible to find love. But I do think the business model here is problematic, and consolidation, monopolization of these dating apps seems to be at the heart of the issue. John.
Yeah, no, it's bad in every field. Why wouldn't it be bad in this? I think we've all come to understand over the past few years that algorithms are like the worst thing ever. I think that there's versions of how that screws up news and communication that can also affect dating. I don't like any of those incentives of like obligating you to use it constantly or whatever. That's deeply strange. I hate just like every part of this. Every time we talk about dating, which we do, I don't know, every 3 or 4 months or whatever, I'm just so thankful that I'm not trying to do it right now.
Thank God,
know. Because I wouldn't make it. It wouldn't be a thing for me because I'm not using those apps. It's crazy. I know what you're thinking. You can get by on face alone, and I understand that. But at some point, I just think that the way that people communicate on that, like I want more than what most women want when they see me, even from far away, instantly. And so, I don't like it.
I did not agree with what you just said right there.
No,
Sorry.
it's not for me. Maybe I'm old timey. I don't know, but I'm not a fan.
Yeah, look,
Really, Fred? More seriously though, the number that shocked me the most was the only 50% don't like the experience. I feel like when I hear, it's always negative.
I
Everybody
know.
seems, particularly for guys, where it's like, apparently it's terrible out there for guys. The guys basically have to like every single person they see just to play the numbers, hoping that 1% respond, 1% of that actually want to talk. Now, I don't know anything about that because I haven't been on those sites in a very long time, but it's just, there's got to be a better way.
Yeah, and look, if these like Match Group wants users to be addicted to and engaged with these apps, if you have found a great partner, you're not going to need the app anymore, right? So the business model does not incentivize providing a service that really does help people find their partner for life. You get what I'm saying? So that's a bit of an issue. It's a bit of a big issue here. And look, for me, the thing that I found just discombobulating with dating apps is actually the opposite of what you cited, right? It's like decision paralysis. Like I don't know, it just feels cheap. You match with a bunch of people. You don't know like who do you go on dates with? Then you go on a bunch of dates and they're just not, it's not for you, right? Like these dates are not great. It was depressing. Like it actually depressed me and I stopped using them. And then-
Do you think?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, look, I did. This is a very long. This is not even just before I got married. This is many years before I even met my wife. I did a few. I had some good experiences on it or whatever. But like, it is basically a crapshoot. Even when the deck is so stacked in your favor as it is for me. But do you think that it's just the technology and the apps, or do you think like is this just the most ridiculous thing to assert? Are people just worse now?
No, I don't think so. I don't
mean generally worse, but I mean like in terms of the ability or willingness to make a connection. We're all worried about brain rot and people's lack of attention span, and we mostly think of that affecting their ability to like get through a novel or watch a movie or whatever. But I think attention span and stuff that like developing into a relationship, getting to know someone, having the interest, being able to focus on something and be passionate about it rather than just scrolling on TikTok. Like, could that potentially be a thing that's being affected by our digital lives?
I mean, I do think our attention spans are being negatively impacted, with technology, but I don't think that's the problem at play here. I think the problem is that these dating apps, like they make dating feel like a meat market. I don't know. It's just, there's something cheap about it. It doesn't mean that it's impossible to find someone, but think about how relationships were developed previously. Like think about the best types of relationships. Usually it starts with someone you meet through a hobby, through church, through something you do out in the real world, right? Sometimes maybe someone you met at work, although I don't recommend that. But nonetheless, like you get to know the person, you fall in love, it's organic. It's just, there's something so wholesome and awesome about that. And I think because we're so atomized, and part of that does have to do with technology, it has become harder for people to meet a partner out in the real world. Just yesterday I overheard two women talking about how they used to meet people organically all the time, but now no one does anything because of COVID. And yeah, I do think that it's taken some time for things to kind of get back to normal. But even so, I do feel like a lot of those social activities that people were engaging in prior to COVID, they no longer engage in. And I think that's also a problem.
Yeah, I get people saying that. I do feel like, and maybe this goes back to the movie thing. I feel like COVID's been long enough ago that like we could do social stuff again. I mean, I know people don't necessarily want to go to the bar when, a martini costs $25 or whatever, but like, you can play kickball and you could do a board game meetup and like you could play pickup volleyball or pickleball or whatever. Like I think that, but again, do people want to do that? Or do they want to sit and let the algorithm lead them on a dopamine driving experience? I don't know.
That's a good point. That's a really good point. I do think that's true. And that it's being online is so addictive. And look, I don't know if this has happened to you. I feel like it happens to me on a regular basis now, and I have to find a way to kick this habit. I'll set aside time specifically to go for a run or do yoga, just get some exercise. But then I'll check my phone and then that's it. Like It just like sucks you in. And then the hour has passed and you're like, oh no. And then that's
and
it.
You get nothing out of it. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, so I do think that's an issue.
I think we need to make America healthy again. We need to ban algorithms.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks. Really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.